Hey, how you guys doing? Let's do it to it. Oops, let's see here. Alrighty. Okay, we're playing Hikaru versus MVL. Whoops, here we go. D4, Knight F6, Bishop F4, B3, C4, Bishop B7, and Knight C3. So let's kind of take scope. What has Nakamura done in MVL? Okay, they both developed two pieces. One situation that Nakamura is using right now is he's setting up somewhat of a London system. Like if this is played here, now you have a London system with one difference though. The knight's not on D2 and the pawn is on C4. So yeah, you have a more advanced pawn. If we were going to do the London system, we would have played this way. You could have actually done this. And then here, there, and here, and then you kind of set up something similar to this, which is actually more beneficial for and then this could potentially come to pass. And then at this point, you can actually set up here, and this would actually have it come back there, and then you can actually take queen takes, and then bishop b7, d7, or d3. And now and if he castles, then you have potentially a knight here with an attack on this knight. He'd have to come there, and this bishop's bad, this bishop's good. So you'd basically be playing against this bishop as it being bad. You wouldn't. Black would, white would play more like f4, more positional, and then c5 would be played. We wouldn't want to take because that would free up this here. So we would play something like queen here. If he plays there, then you can retreat back. h6. This makes a spot for an attack though. So potentially g4 would be a good idea. And if he tries knight to develop there, we can actually wait for a second if we wanted to and play h4 here. And if he takes, we would take via this way. And now the knight would have to move, and then we would castle queenside and get our rook involved here. Even though he has, yes, a fast attack, we have a faster one though. We have enough pieces to defend, and if he takes, now we have this attack, and if he tries to blunt it, we have bishop h5. And if he takes here, then he'd have to play this, and then we take there, and we're attacking the queen with a discovery. So he can't actually after takes. So he would actually not be able to really take this bishop. He'd have to make a he'd have to somehow try to go for an attack on this, but then if you do this, it's you would win a piece here, and then you could push onward. So but if you played here, you would take, rook takes, and then you have a fork. There's your tactic of a fork. And now this bishop's bad. Even though we're down a whole piece, this bishop is horrible, and we're going to win back material. And then we got a pass pawn. Yes, potentially he could attack a little here. So you just have to be kind of careful. And if he takes, then and he tries bishop here to infiltrate in, you can actually push at this point, and you get pretty close and something like that. You know, it's just fun lines. a lot of fun can come out of the London system. Bishop g5, h6, takes, queen takes. Because you have to be really careful, my friends, when you do this type of a setup here. Because when Nakamura traded off his bishop for his knight, he has to realize that now MVL has the dark squared bishop, so MVL is going to want to play on the dark squares. The majority of his ideas is he's going to want to lock White's pawns on dark squares. Actually, White would want to do that kind of to stunt Black's bishop. Or potentially, because this bishop's bad, the light square bishop at this moment, we potentially could try to make this bishop not a good piece too. So you just got to be careful of opening up the position when your opponent has two bishops. But Jeremy Silman did say that you could potentially, if Black's not aware, you can actually win the bishop pair, one of the pairs back. And in this setup here, you're okay because you have the same, only one bishop. He only has one bishop. Sometimes you can trade off one of the bishop pair, one of them, and you'll have a fighting chance in some situations. It's in Reassess Your Chess, 4th edition, that he talks about that. C takes D. Pawn takes. Now this is a weakness forever, and he's going to try to play eventually d4 and try to break down this so that he can get his bishop, have this long a8 to h1 diagonal. Okay. Queen a4 check. Oops. King, he doesn't want to play this here. This would make this bishop totally ugly. Yes, you're probably saying though, after like bishop here, couldn't he play that? Yeah, but look at this. His light square bishop has like no scope, and we can just retreat back, and the only way to get scope would be to push there, and it's like, I don't know. We could even develop there, and if takes, we just implant a knight. Now the knight's outposted, and there's 2 points. So potentially first, after this, we could play bishop takes, winning a pawn. You win a pawn first. That's probably best. When the bishop intercepts here, you can now play knight takes, and then if bishop takes, knight takes, and now you're attacking 2 points, d6 and knight to c7. So if the bishop like plays there, we can actually at this point castle, and then harass the bishop or hassle the bishop with f4. Like if knight there, actually that would be a bad move. Sorry. I need to play there to guard this bishop. f4, then takes, and knight takes. And now we're playing around the isolated pawn. And potentially we could somehow try to get an anchor point. We have really good anchor points for our pieces. And we would want to try to lock down with b4, and he probably would castle at this point. We can play knight up, queen there. Rook would slide over, and potentially maybe not queen c5. Potentially maybe we slide over and try to get some attack via this way. Then when he tries to dominate, we come there, and he could have a knight and try to steal the open file like Jeremy Silman talked about via like when we play here. They go there, and then he can try to steal the open file. And if he comes back, we can just take, rook here, rook takes, queen takes, and then now, because we're up a pawn, if he tries to go after this weak point here, we can actually play knight and then attack these two pawn areas. And now we're attacking here, we're attacking this pawn. So he would try something like that. Yeah. Hey, how you guys doing? And then here, and then we're up. We would try to get our pawns going. He would try to stop that, and then we can get our pawns rolling. Hey, Morphe, how you doing? King H2. There we go. Nakamura was playing white in this line. It's a Indian game, but it's more of a. It has a setup of a French. Oh, perfect. This we're gonna be doing some puzzles pretty soon after we get our game and our minds ready for puzzles. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And Nakamura played this game, and so it's a pretty fun game. It's gets MVL. It's 2015. It's an older game. Not too old though. 3 takes. I was trying to find one that Simon Williams did a tape on the London system, and I was trying to find the one that he did for the London system, and I'll have to look that one up. I was trying to find it today. I have it on my on the CD thing that Grandmaster Simon Williams has. So I'll have to compare it with chess.com, but chess games, and I'll see if I can't find it there. I found this one. It was a really interesting looking one, so I thought we can look at it. The Indian game is really fun. Some of those lines are really sharp, and it actually can arise from a London system, so that's why you can kind of go over a lot of different openings, and you get a feel like, man, that reminds me of the London system. Man, that reminds me of the London system. Wow, that reminds me of the London system. Yeah, because it's not, the London system isn't an opening. It's a way of handling certain openings using the D4 pawn maneuver and bishop F4. So that's the reason I like the London system. It's a system. It takes. Oh, nice! Wow, that is nice. This takes advantage of this pin. Oh, that's a cool tactic right there. And he has to take, otherwise the bishop will fall. And if this bishop moves, this pawn falls, and now this rook's about to come off the board. After takes there, you get a rook. So he has to take, and by doing so, he's going to lose a bishop and get a passed d pawn. So wow, wow, wow. The queen takes though, so they get it back, but now they're in another pin, and MVL's pawn structure is wrecked. Not very good at all. And Nakamura just takes scope. He says, the only thing that's holding your position together is a queen and a bishop. If I can kind of attack here, if I can get my queen, maybe do some attack on that bishop, then attack your queen, can we activate the loosening of this knight, therefore winning a pawn and having a one pawn endgame? And I always figure those. And now that's what Nakamura is planning, is queen b3 next. Queen b4. That's a really strong move. It takes advantage of this, takes advantage here. So again, he's using a pin on this bishop, because if this knight ever moves, this bishop would fall. So Nakamura uses the pin on this bishop. And so the rook's going to have to actually come over potentially and guard. Or what you could do is, but you can't move this bishop either, because if you do, that pawn falls. So man, this bishop is like attached to this pawn, c5 pawn. It's guarding it, and this knight is attached to this bishop. So with this queen move actually stops the bishop on, the knight on b5 from moving. So in theory, Nakamura has two more pieces in play. He has these three pieces that could be in play, and these two are locked down. This one to that, and that one to the bishop. So knight c5. Yeah, this was kind of a he didn't really need to do that. Remember, use a pin. When the rook moved, you got to ask yourself, what was the idea for black? He wants to retreat his bishop out. So now his bishop's to a8, and it still guards the pawn. This knight's free to roam, but now we have an attack on the queen right onto the rook. So in theory, now we can actually play something like this, and we're attacking the queen and the rook, and potentially maybe some infiltration attacks. And at this point, white resigned, because he's going to lose if he moves here, he's going to lose a rook. That's why they said to move the rook, if you were wondering, so that rook fe could just be removed back here. And actually, sorry, you can't move there. That would lose so right here would have to be something like that, or maybe f. Yeah, probably f6 would be a better, because now you can potentially trade off. Like if this happened to make a flight square, you potentially could play here, and then he would hope for a trade-off, then you trade, and Nakamura would be happy with this position, 2 pawns up. Who wouldn't be happy? Or sorry, a pawn up, and with a bishop, and you have pawns on both sides of the board, it's a heaven sent position. So alright, so you guys are we ready and rolling for some more tactical puzzles? Are we all ready for puzzles? Alright, let's do it. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Oops, I have to go back. Did the wrong one. There we go. I clicked on the wrong tab. There we go. Alrighty, let's do it to it. Oh no, I don't like this. This is not good. The pawn is attacking our knight. So our knight's the only piece that's defending h7, which would lead to mate. So we're gonna have to either do a really big attack somehow. Actually, we could trap the queen, couldn't we? I'm looking at potentially candidate moves knight h5, or a queen move, or a q move somewhere. We might look at some q moves. But I'm thinking that if we can trap the queen, potentially we can go after an attack. Potentially. Oh, that works too. That would win a piece. Yeah, so I think I'm liking Erie's line of, and then now what we could actually play here, yeah, to take it one step further, queen to e3, queen e3 check. I'm thinking queen e3 check at that point. When the rook comes up, we can then block with our knight at that point. Let's see, how can, so it continues. So it continues. Huh. I'm thinking here, what do you guys think? Knight, knight h5 here. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking knight h5 as well. Yeah. Because in this line, it does work. Exactly. That's the whole idea based on this here. Was that after rook comes up here, knight h5, and if rook takes, this is impossible because of that. Great job there. Nice work. Nice spot, right? That was quick. Good job. See. Candidate moves queen c8, check, or let's see. Not sure. That's really all I can see at this moment for a candidate move. A check there. Let me see. Do we have any? Well, I guess there is one more queen check. Queen to g6 check is an idea. So there's two candidate moves. Queen c8 check and queen queen g6. Those would be the most forcing lines. Oh, I would love to get I'd love somehow to get a queen to d4 without our king being checked though. But and then we can play. Yeah, yeah, that would be interesting. The only problem is he could play with queen to e4. He could actually play bishop takes e3. Bishop takes e3 check. I would like somehow if we can only get if we can only get black's queen to d4, we would have if we can get black's queen to d4. Yeah, then the rook would take on b3. I've been trying to make bishop takes d4, queen takes d4, check, and king h1 work. I want to make that work. That's true. Very true. You know what? We're not losing anything. That is true. Oh, wait a second. This is silly of me. We can win a piece right off the bat with, let me see, how can we win it? I'm thinking. I thought I saw a way to win a piece right off the bat, but I may have been missing. Queen c8, check, king f7, bishop g6, check, king takes g6. So that doesn't work. I think at that point he might actually play. Let me see here. He might play when you play this here, rook b1 here. Copy. Let me see here. Queen move. Queen doesn't actually at this point. Rook would go to b3. That would be a blocking move. Rook could actually block at that point. I'm trying to see if we can't make if we can't win the queen somehow. I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. I'm trying to see if I can't make c8 check work. That's what I want to actually have work, because that frees up a lot of our bishops at that. I guess, let me see, we could push the, hold on, let me see. I think we do have a line. That is it. That is kind of interesting. That was kind of what I was looking at. So I'm thinking that's right. Okay. King G, bishop G. You did. You know what? Those were all good lines. You just always have to remember to find your opponent's best reply to it. I had to work with that with my teacher. He says you gotta find your opponent's best reply. Let's see. So check if king moves up. Check. Yeah. Ah, drat. Let's see why the other line didn't work. Okay, that's the reason. And if he plays there, bishop check here, king d8, and then bishop to bishop takes at that point, and that picks up a rook. That picks up the rook and threatens mate. Actually, not mate there. Sorry, mate here. Excuse me. Okay. Drat. Okay, dokie. Trying to make, let's see if we can't make this work. Okay, we'll try that line afterwards. Sorry, I went right into another puzzle. We'll try that line after this. Queen takes. I'm thinking it's equal material if we try queen takes e3, b takes e3, rook takes, king moves over. See yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to see if we can't make rook takes e3 work. So rook takes d3, check, queen takes d3, queen takes b2, check, queen c2, queen d4, check. If king c1, then we can actually play queen takes a1, which would win an exchange. So queen d4. If king e1, then queen takes. Oops. If king e1, then queen takes a1. Okay. What do you think about this line here? What do you guys think? I'm thinking that we win. There we go. Let's go back. We were gonna check out that one line that you wanted to see what would happen. Let's do it. We were gonna check that one out. Okay, rook b1. Oops. Okay, rook b1. Bishop takes. King h1. King d8. Yeah, you would have to. He'd lose. It'd actually be mate, so he has to actually move, and then by moving you win. So in a game versus a human, I think this would be enough to shock and awe him. So I think you have the right thought pattern with that. Oops, there we go. That's funny. It's not. See, it's a good move, but it's not. It's not the best move, and that's what they're wanting us to do is the best move. There's a lot of good moves, but there's only one best move. Man, oh man, trying to figure out what do I want to take. See if I play queen takes b4. He has queen takes d5, so that's not good. We do have a potential king f1, potentially king f1, king f1. Does he have castles though at this point? We castles work though. So that's one thing where we have to consider. Do we mind exchanging the bishop? By taking the bishop, we do stop. So queen takes b4 does stop him from castling, but we do lose the d5 bishop. And is that worth it enough that we lose the d5 bishop? That's what we have to consider. Is it worth moving our our king. We are attacking his bishop at that point. So if he castled, so king f1, if he castled, sorry, I didn't realize it. We can actually play queen takes b4 at that point. But if we did that, then we would lose our bishop again. So it's like, we're in check right now, Erie. We're in check right now. We have to deal with a check. Oh, puzzle time, that's what's up. I'm thinking you're right. I think we have to take the only, that's the only way to if we play queen, if we play queen c3, can't he play rook g8 though? Oh, oh yeah, that is a power move. Nice. Nice job there. Nice, nice, nice. That was sweet. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm looking at knight d4 check is a candidate move. I'm thinking that I'm looking to see because that stops him from running. Knight d4, and whatever he does, we can actually check with our rook. So knight d4 check. If king goes to f4, we can play rook check, rook f3 check. If king goes g4, we can actually potentially play rook f4 check, and if king takes f4, we have knight e6 check, and we pick up the. So I'm gonna go with it. Oh wow. Okay, so he goes up. Let's see if we check and he goes e5. We don't have mate, that's for sure. Oh, let's see if we can check on f3, rook f3, king e5, rook f5 check, king e4, rook f4. Actually, I'm so sorry. King e3, then okay, yeah. I think we can. I'm looking at this line here. I was just us kind of throwing out some lines while I was thinking. Rook check, king e5, rook f5, check, king e4, king e4, rook f4, king e3, and then knight f5 would pick up the queen would check. So we're kind of this is the move here. Oh no, really? I'm not there. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of a tough one. It's okay. We got it. We got it in our heads, though. Oh, it would be a fork. I'll go back and I'll show you. After we get this one, we'll go back and check that. So check, king up there, push there. Okay, I think this is the move here. Bishop e3, check. King goes to d5, h6. D2, bishop takes d2, so maybe not d2, maybe bishop b7, h7, nope, still loses. I'm wondering, is there a difference between bishop g7 though? Check. Okay, let's go with it then. Oh. Okay, let's go back and take a look at why he can't take the pawn. I mean the piece. I should have calculated that. That was my fault. If he takes, then we have the knight check, and then when he comes up, and we can actually run this pawn up the board now. And there's no way of stopping it. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. We'll get it back. Queen takes g6, check. If king f8, bishop takes h6, check. King e7. Then we would win the queen with bishop to g5, check would win the queen. So he's not going to be able to do that. He won't be able to run that way. So queen takes g6, check. King h8 is his proposal. Queen takes h5 check, or h6 check. King g8. And then I'm thinking when he goes back, we might be able to do another check here. Oops, sorry. There. Mob. Nope. Everything's good. Queen to g6 check. King h8. And then bishop g5. And what would happen at this point is if the queen goes to d7, we have bishop f6 check, and then the queen would have to intercept at that point. So And then when the queen left its post is when we get him. So you watch here, here, here. Oops, sorry, it's got to move back. There, when the bishop comes up, check because we're threatening mate. There we go, we get mate. There we go. We got it. We just have to make sure all the lines are 100% checked, and they were, and we got it. Let me see here. Oh boy, I'm trying to see if we can't fork the queen anywhere here with our knight maneuver. Let's see, knight takes e2, check. Queen takes e2. Bishop takes d4. Rotates d4. Rotates c3. B takes c3. Queen takes... No. Nothing. Okay. Let's see here if bishop takes d4. If queen takes f4, bishop takes c3. If b takes c3, queen takes a3 check, king goes to if it's d2, maybe king d2. What's your guys' proposal on that? Oh, wait a second. Why don't we just play? Why don't we play knight d5? Knight d5 potentially might be an idea. But let me see. Knight takes d5. Let's see. Knight d5. Knight takes d5. Hey, why not do that right away? Why not play bishop h6 right now? see, bishop h6, bishop e3, knight takes e2, check, queen takes e2, but you have to take in consideration, what if rook takes c3, and what if queen takes f4? What if queen takes f4 though? Yeah, because I always look at those and I'm like, you gotta find the best continuation. Let's see, rook takes c3, queen takes f4, rook takes c2, king takes c2, rook c8 check. If king goes to b1, then we don't really have anything at that point. Let me think. How can we do this? Maybe we just plain old win the pawn. Maybe we play knight takes e2 check, queen takes e2, and then e takes d6. But I don't know if is that enough compensation. I'm thinking potentially bishop takes d4, queen takes f4, bishop takes c3, and then b takes c3, queen takes a4 check. Might not be bad. So rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes. Yep, but the difference is I'm keeping my bishop. Yeah. I think that's it. They just take the bishop at that point, and then nothing comes to fruition. I'm thinking that bishop takes is kind of forced here. Yeah. Hold on. Yikesers. Okay, knight takes e2 check. Knight takes e2. I think that is the move. I think we have to play that. Wow, that's a headache and a half, huh? Queen, yeah. Queen takes c2 check. King a1. Queen takes d1 check. Knight c1. Queen takes c1 mate, but I gotta make sure I did that right. Okay, we'll do it. Or if that Yep, exactly. Did I answer your line? The line you wanted to go over? second, let me see. Okay, perfect. Nice. Okay, let's head right back into our puzzles again, and we'll amp it up. There's a pretty interesting setup. Okie dokie. Let's see, do we have a... I'm looking at queen, I'm looking at bishop f5. Bishop f5, I think, wins. Right on the spot. So yeah, bishop f5. The queen has really no spot to go to. The queen can't go. I don't think he has any spot to go to. Bishop f5, let me see, he doesn't have g5, he doesn't have g7, doesn't have g4. If he checks on h5, queen h5 check, king takes g2, g3. And then if, okay, I got it. I got the line. Bishop f5, queen h5 check, king takes g3, queen takes h1, queen g5 check, king goes to h7, and then queen g7 is mate. That is different for sure. Let me see. Queen takes d3, queen takes h6 check, king g2. If queen g5 check, queen can go to g3, queen g3, and we pin. So I'm thinking we just pick this up. Oh. Oh. Drat. I forgot that was cover. That was my bad. I should have seen that. That was so... yeah. Here, you just take there. I forgot this. I gotta keep my eyes on that. It's not your fault. Let's see if it actually works, though. And we come here, and then queen g5, and if he goes here, and rook d1, and we do have potential for infiltration. So it's because of these other two pass pawns that he gets that it makes it equal. I should have been on the observant to have seen that. That's okay though. So close there, so close. We're one move shy. Okay. Thinking h4, but rook to h8, that solves that that kind of scenario issue. Knight d1 potentially is an idea. That's what I was looking at, actually. Surprisingly, I was looking at that. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm liking it. We can't take with the queen. When the queen takes here, he'd win the material back. So what we would have to do here is play e5. e5 has to be played at that point. See, e5, bishop takes e5, and then knight to e4. Knight e4, and I think that wins material if I'm not mistaken. Because if we did this here, he could actually throw an in-between move in. And I know you see the in-between move. It's queen takes g1, check, king takes g1, and then g takes f4, check. Not check, but g takes f4. I take the check off. Yeah, to always look for those in-between moves. Oh, wait a second. That's simple. Bishop. This here. And then bishop check. Bishop checks still, the king moves, we take the bishop, then we slide our queen over, I guess, but or could we actually just move the rook up at that point? Yep, we're taking it to the next level. Actually, I have a better one. Bishop c7. And that wins. Well, maybe. I'm now that I think about it, bishop c7. Hold on, let me see some. Rook f. Huh? Interesting. Let's see. Bishop c7. If rook f6, queen g8, check. But I don't think that does anything, so he could just come back at that point. So queen takes g6, rook f7, bishop d. bishop. Knight. My only concern is this move here, potentially. Knight f8. Knight f8 after that. Let's see, bishop takes g6, rook f7, bishop d6. What do you think about, what if he plays knight to f8 attacking our queen though? See, that's the only concern I kind of have. So if we played bishop d6, rook f7, queen takes g8, and then the knight still would go there. So it's like, a knight f6 would block that. I think we have to either move our bishop or the queen move. I'm not exactly sure here. I'm thinking you're right. I don't think we can actually play bishop d6 because he's got rook f6 at that point. See, if we play bishop d6 right now, rook f6 is playable. And then when we play queen takes there, we really only win a pawn. So I'm thinking that the other line might. Thinking this line might actually. Nope. So it's still telling me this is this. Nope, it's not that. Nope, not that. It's not that either. What are we missing? Oh, so the line was right. Oh, drat, that line was right. I was thinking that this would happen, but then you have check here. Queen takes g8. Oh, queen g8 again. Then we take the pawn. He kind of does. Ah, drat. I should have went with that. It's my bad. Yeah, I should have. I actually forgot about it. I kind of dismissed it from my mind. I should have looked at it, made it a candidate move. So we got to get our points back. I hate when that happens. They really smack us. Yeah. See, knight d6. Alright, knight e6 check. Knight e6 check, king f8. Rook d. But if king h6, nothing at that point. So knight takes f5, g takes f5, rook d7 check, king h6. Knight, rook, where's the queen? Ugh. Knight d6 check, king h6. I don't really see any more checks after king h6. He's forking our queen and our rook, so we have to do something hyperactive on that. Excuse me. Let's see here. Knight takes f5, check. G takes f5. Rook d7, check. If king h6, queen to g8. Queen g8 might be a move. And I think that may actually win on the spot. Yeah, let's go with it. Let's see. c6, h3, c7, rook takes b5, check. King c4, h2, and then if c8 equals queen, I think we're winning at that point. Is that the kind of line you were looking at? Is that what you were kind of considering? I don't think he would push. Probably he might play after c4 bishop bishop c8. That's what he might play. Bishop c. Well, if he goes bishop c8, then we have rook takes. Then if he goes bishop c8, we actually win his rook. So bishop c8, we have king takes b5. So we win the rook in that line. The rook would take at that point. If right here, this line, I believe the rook would take. King c7, he stops it. Oh. Ugh. What went wrong with our idea? Hold on, let me see. Ah. Ay, ay, ay. Let me see here. So rook D. Queen C6 might be playable. Queen C6 might be playable. That threatens a back rank mate. Queen C6. Queen E5. King H6. And I really don't see any line that he can really do anything on at that point. What do you think? Hmm. And I don't really see anything after he has no more checks on us after that. He could potentially double up though. See, what I was thinking is after king h6, he potentially has rook a d1. So maybe that do you have a line? So he's thinking queen g5, g takes h3, and then rook takes. Queen takes d2. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Let's see, knight g5. We could do knight g5. D3. Actually, that loses, so I'm gonna go with D3. Oh, so let me see. Nothing there. You had the right move. Ah, yeah, she had the right move. That was the correct move. And that here. Because if yeah, because if he retreats back, then he loses the rook. And if he comes here, he loses to checkmate. And if we play here, which is forced, he has queen check there, king h6, and no more checks. Queen e1, I guess queen e1 could be played. Queen takes. Alright, I like this move better. Check. King g1 takes, and then takes. King e1. I like the knight f2. I think knight f2. It likes each one mates in 11. So king g1, queen takes, and then queen takes, knight takes. We'll try one more, and then we got that on log. I gotta remember that pattern. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. I'm thinking it's potentially knight takes e5, rook takes, bishop takes c6, and then knight takes c6. Okay, well, we'll call it there. I'm thinking that's that'd be a good spot kind of to pick up next time. We'll get the points back. Sometimes you have bumpy roads. We'll get them back. It was just a hiccup tonight. Do you have any questions on anything on them? Any of the puzzles before? Yeah. So you have any questions on any of the puzzles before I log off? But hey, we know where the potholes are, so we won't hit them next time. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Oh, that's funny. Uh, Life is about treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. Remember that mistakes do not define you. It is how you handle the mistake that defines you as a person and a chess player. There are no limits, there are plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond the plateau that you're at and accelerate far beyond. And remember that this is about learning and having fun. If we don't get it right, we learn why we don't get it right, and then we come back in stronger, and we solve another puzzle, and we have fun doing that. We'll eventually get the idea of how they all fit. Sometimes we overcomplicate it, and it's just straight to the point. You know, like the queen to g5, that wins on the spot. Go with it. You know what? If you don't have any better move, but you have a good move, go with that good move. That's how Hikaru Nakamura gets a lot of his. He wins a lot of blitz games. He doesn't play bad moves. He plays good moves. And sometimes they're maybe not the best move, but he doesn't play bad moves. He plays good moves, and that will throw the time right back into his opponent, and then his opponent has to think about the good move. And if they don't know that it's okay to play a good move and not the best move, so they'll run out of time, and eventually they time out and make mistakes on being low on time. So we have to keep that in mind, that we're studying to find the best move, but sometimes a good move is okay as well. So this is just to sharpen our radar, as if you were to say the blinking on the board. When we look at the board and we sense an enemy ship or whatever that we're sensing with our radar, and we're like, ah, there it is, and then we send our men out and we implement that tactic, and we win a piece. All these ups and downs and learning experiences will be all worthwhile, as long as we remember that the Lord's in control, and that the Lord is the one who gives us our every breath power, and you know what? He gives us our talents, and we should use them to honor Him. That's the whole purpose, and that's why we do what we do. We should do, at least that's why we should do what we do. And as always, we just gotta have fun, you know, and always keep plowing a straight line. And you know what? That's the goal with chess, is to just keep plowing that straight line. We're blacksmiths on the board. We take metal and mix it and make things, and we have to constantly hone our skills, and we're getting better. And it's, you know what, a lot of hours have been put in for to be. I always figure this. Many of hours, hundreds of hours, have been put in for only an hour and a half on a board, and it's that hour and a half that makes all the difference. Especially, what I'm trying to say is, if you're sitting down for the world championship and you find that one move that's the winning move, and you're on game 12 and you find the winning move on game 12, and it was actually five and a half, five and a half, but you find that one win and you win, and then that all that time, all those mistakes, all those ups, all those downs were worthwhile. You get to be called the world champion. So I think we can endure for that one bright moment that we get to win a tournament, and we get to say it was all worth it. And what do we always have to do to get to that point? We hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, we sit down and study when most won't we do, and that makes all the difference. And as Wesley So says, for the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless. I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And we'll keep pushing forward. We'll get to that 2,400 marker. We truly will. It's just hard effort, working, having fun, and improving and seeing them. We just have to see them and not focus on the wrong things, but on the right things. Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. Hoorah. Be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.